Hey guys, it's Joe B. This is going to be a pretty frank video about how I failed at poker. Yeah, failed. You know, as a card player or somebody who's reasonably good at cards, it's hard to talk about failing at poker. The history is, let's see, not this past June, but the June before, June 2021. I had a pretty good run through June and built a bankroll. Let me think here, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 15 1-2 buy-ins, right about there. The cards are running well, and the bankroll was going good. I was playing properly, you know, choosing the right spots, mostly tournaments, not a lot of cash. And I ended up making a bankroll management mistake. You know, they say not to do this, but I used pretty much everything on a World Series of poker buy-ins in 2022, so those didn't go well, and there were unreasonably unlucky spots. And I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say. One example, it was a pretty good buy-in. I was about 3 or 4 rounds in. I had aces late position. There's a pro, I'm not going to say his name, but he did a min raise. Guy in seat 5 makes it 16,000, and then I shove over the top for my whole stack, which was about 38,000. The pro folds, the guy calls off, he shows 10s, I show aces, and there's a 10 in the window. So that pretty much sums up how things were going for me in the World Series. It just wasn't happening, which is normal, but my bankroll, I didn't have enough to weather that and continue to play. So now recently we have a very small bankroll. I mean, like, just a couple of buy-ins at the smallest games. And I've decided to go ahead and make a video after each time I play in order to summarize exactly what's happening, because I don't want to become biased and think that I'm getting unreasonably lucky, which I do believe that, but I need more bias perspective. So this past time, everything was going fine. A very small buy-in tournament just for fun, early morning. Let's see, what's the rounds? 200, 400, 400. I'm there with a stack of about 18,000. I've got queen 10 of clubs, second, third position, right about there. I make it a 900. I get called in one spot. I flop Broadway with one club, like rainbow. So it's, what is that? Ace, king, jack, one club. I continue for 9. The guy raises it to 4,000. Yeah, my surprise, you're hearing cha-chingle bells right there. So then I posture for a minute, and I'm like, what could he even have here? A set, right? I don't know, jacks? Like, it doesn't make sense. Probably a strong pair and the draw at most, right? So I go to 9,000, and he postures, and then he calls it. And he's only got, I think 6K behind, about. So I really don't want to make an issue of it. I just take it. So I go all in dark. The river, or the turn is a jack, so the board pairs, and he calls it. He calls off. He shows ace 10, so he's got a pair in the draw, and the river is the ace. Anybody will tell you that's unlucky. That puts me at about 9,000. Not much happened after that. Just kind of bled out a little bit. I think I was at maybe 7.5 on the button. UTG limper folds around. I got ace 10. I might overplay this a little bit, but I go ahead and shove it, thinking maybe I could steal the 2K that's out there. Small blind calls with 10s, and my ace doesn't come. So that was that tournament. A little luck, especially on my made hands, would have been pretty good, but just dealing with this extraordinarily long downstroke in variance, and wondering how much it's going to cost before it recovers. So the first hand was ridiculous, but the second hand, I guess I could have waited for a better spot. But in these really short, fast turbo tournaments, there's not a lot of waiting, and some of the weaker players, they don't raise hands early position than they should have, and you need to avoid the multi-way pots. You just have to. So I did the best I could. You know, 30% is not the worst. It's not where you want to be, but historically in these positions, I don't get bailed out. There's a guy who's at my table just walking now. So unfortunately, players like this will luck out on you, and it's just walking through a landmine, a field of landmines. They don't have, to brutal honesty, they don't have what it takes to survive through the late stages of the heavy ICM pressure, break the bubble, and even get to a reasonable cash, but they have what it takes to get in your way and knock you out of the tournament. At any rate, this is like, I don't know what you call it, Series 1, Episode 1 of why I failed at poker, and I enjoyed the game, so I don't want to quit, but at this point I'm at very low stakes, and we'll see what happens. Alright, this is Joe B, letting you know what's happening with the cards.